get the old whistle there. That's better. Okay, well, like I said, in the spirit of anti-sexism, here are 7 things that men do to annoy women. Number 1. Adjusting your private parts. The day that women discover the secret for a man's love for fiddling with his private parts will be a joyous occasion. Surely that much scratching and readjusting can't be good for you. Why hasn't someone invented a cure for this frustrating problem by now? The image of a man lying on the sofa with his manhood in one hand and a bag of nuts in the other certainly won't make it into a list of women's top 10 sexual fantasies anytime soon. Whilst we understand you sometimes need to sort the boys out for comfort purposes, at least do it while we're not looking. Number 2. Selective hearing. Choosing to watch the television over listening to your other half is never going to end well because it's insulting. Are women really that boring, or do you only enjoy conversations about sex and food? Tuning in and out of conversations isn't really an option. You're either having a chat with us, or you aren't. Maybe all conversations should take the form of sex, please take the bin out of food. Please take the bin out, or food, can I have a cuddle? Or maybe even, I'm naked, your tea has been on the side for half an hour. Please don't make us do this. That's quite funny, actually. Number 3. Leaving a trail of mess. What is it with the male tendency to leave the story of their day behind in a trail of mess like a storyboard? When we get home from work, we don't need to ask what you've been up to on your day off. We can see that you've had a shower and a shave, played on your game, had lunch, played on a different game, and then watched films. Is this a strategic trail that you leave behind so you can find your way back to the fridge? Or is it so you needn't bother telling us about your day when we get home? Please enlighten us, and in the meantime, pick your mess up. These are funny. Number 4. This one's connected to number 3, apparently. Leaving the remnants of your shaving session in the sink. Men, if you walked into the bathroom only to find used makeup wipes and the hair from our freshly shaved legs around the bathroom, we're sure you'd find it somewhat bothersome. We seem to face a similar problem every morning with your short curly hairs and bits of stubble. It's not pleasant at all. Just because you hate the boring process of shaving, don't bring us into your battle against the beard and overgrown chest hair. Number 5. Oh, what the fuck? Man flu. The term man flu has permeated public consciousness to suggest that men exaggerate their cold symptoms as a way of getting attention from their female counterparts. If you're as strong as enduring as you claim to be, then don't break down when you have a cold. We dread to think how you'd cope with period pains and childbirth. Thank you, lucky stars, you're a man. Number 6. Spending all your money on technical stuff. If we go on a shopping spree and return with a handful of bags, we never hear the last of it. Yet men seem to have a bottomless bank of money when it comes to games and technical stuff. We're willing to call compromise on this one though. If you're going to spend your money on stuff you don't really need, let us do the same without feeling guilty about it. You buy your games, we'll buy our shoes, and we'll call it a truce. Number 7. Leaving the toilet seat up. The troublesome toilet seat. Who would have known it could cause such a fuss? Indeed, no list of men's annoying habits is complete without the classic toilet seat argument getting attention. Or getting a mention, sorry. We understand that if you need to lift it up, we'd only complain about you dirtying the seat if you didn't. But what's wrong with putting it back down again after? Well, I can honestly say I've probably done some of these. Um, I mean, these ones aren't really just annoying things that men do that annoy women. It's just you like socially attacking us, really. We have to adjust our private parts. I'm sure people, young and old, especially kids, don't want to see us men walking around with a fucking tent pole sticking out of our trousers indicating that we're sexually aroused. So we have to slip our hand down into our pants or our boxers, depending on what we're wearing at the time, and make sure our little fella is pointing straight up, parallel with our body, rather than poking straight out for all the world to see. And I'm sure most men would agree that this is better. And I'm sure most women would agree that this is better than our penis sticking out like a fucking magic wand of glorious sexual arousal. Selective hearing. Now, selective hearing. Now, your definition here of selective hearing is quite funny. Now, I understand that most men, we do have selective hearing. But most of the stuff we normally tune out is when you're talking about how cute the neighbour's cat looks when it's sat in front of the rose bush, as mentioned in the previous video. But when you talk about absolute bollocks, we just don't want to listen. And I'm sorry, but if watching a fucking documentary about Hitler's rise to power seems more important than you talking about the neighbour's cat, and if this is causing an issue for you, then maybe you need to take a good look at where your priorities are. Because if you think the next door neighbour's cat is more important than anything else in the world, there's something wrong with you. And anyway, in that respect, you're just as bad. Moving swiftly on to number 3, we don't all leave a trail of mess. And the point you point out here about, so we don't have to tell you about our day when you get home, well, maybe some of us just don't like having to explain what we did all day, so we just sort of leave a trail of mess, so you know exactly what we did. Who knows? I don't know. I've never done that. Although I do hate the stupid question, what have you been doing all day then? Fuck all, really. I mean, would you really want us to sit there and tell you what we've been doing all day? Well, I woke up this morning at 9 o'clock and decided to go back to sleep until 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock I woke up again, took a massive shit, had a shower, played Midnight Club 3 for an hour. I'm speaking in rhymes now, shit. Had a pizza, then played Star Wars Battlefront for 3 hours, had a wank, played another hour of Midnight Club 3, and then you came home. I really don't think you want us to tell you all that. That's not how I spent the day, by the way, but yeah. And so moving swiftly on. Number 4, leaving the remnants of your shaving session in the sink. I can't say I've ever left the remnants of my shaving session in the sink. I will normally wash the sink when I've had a shave, which also includes washing out my shaver, because it's an electric shaver, it's a battery powered shaver, and I will wash, sorry, I'm turning into Necroscope 86. I'll wash the sink as much as possible when I've had a shave. There might be the odd hair here or there if you look really fucking closely, but I doubt you'll see any, so yeah. But I will admit that would be considerably fucking annoying. Man flu is the big one. icing at the top of the cake, how can you call man flu an annoying male habit? Man flu was invented by women. Yeah. At some point in the past, somewhere, one man got the flu, suffered really bad with it, and his girlfriend thought he was just taking the piss and decided to spread the term man flu. So now men everywhere, every year, whenever they get a cold or whatever, we always have to endure with the "oh, have you got man flu" thing, which is just it's sexual discrimination, and I don't like it. Then again, I guess it balances itself out. I mean, if we've got man flu that we suffer so bad with, then I'm glad you have to have a period. And anyway, you have to have that every month, so there. And we have the poor where you're assessing, complaining about it. And don't even get me started on the raging mood swings and hormonal imbalances during pregnancy. Number 6, spending all your money on technical stuff. Now, I have to admit, I do spend money on technical stuff, like games, consoles, fucking things I can fiddle about with, you know, like little airfix kits and whatever. Them big model planes that you put together, and when you throw it, it goes round and smacks you in the back of the head all the time because they never work properly. Those things, you know, most men will buy things like that. It's what takes up most of our spare time, as we like to fiddle with these things and whatever. And just think of it this way: if we're fiddling with our little airfix kit or playing this game on our Xbox, we're not adjusting our bollocks or whatever, and we're not taking apart our car's engine on the kitchen table. Can't believe people actually do that. It's like, oh yeah, don't go in the kitchen or my car engine parts on the table. Hope you took the tablecloth off first. Well, that's the issue there. And anyway, you talk about us spending all our money on technical stuff, and then you mentioned the small thing of you buying shoes and things. I'm sorry, but if you add up a woman's yearly spend on stuff like shoes, makeup, clothes, and mount that next to a man's yearly spend on technical stuff, your women's pile would be at least twice as high. Because we all know that women just like to buy clothes and clothes and clothes and clothes and things they do not need. I mean, I have the most I ever had was 3 wallets at the same time, because the one I was using was becoming a bit tatty. My mum bought me one for my birthday, and I bought one, so I ended up with 3 wallets pretty much at the same time. And I thought that was more than enough wallets. But what is it with women's obsession with having 50 or 60 purses? You can only take one out during the day with you. Why do you need 50 of them? And all these pairs of shoes. I mean, when it comes to shoes, I have my regular trainers. I have black shoes, like if I've got a job interview or if I'm working or whatever. And if needed, I have like steel toe cap boots, which are good for if you're doing like a construction job or it's very fucking snowy outside, because they've got a hell of a good tread. And if you're a football player, you probably have your football shoes as well, with the little stud things in them. That's it. So the most a man has is about 4 pairs of footwear. You don't count slippers, because they're slippers. Um, but women seem to want endless amounts of shoes of all different colours and shapes and sizes. They buy these high heel ones where the heels are all the way up here, and then they complain that they hurt their feet when they wear them. And they buy these platforms that make them seem like 20 inches taller, and then they complain that they're smacking their head on the fucking door frames as they walk through them. Then why buy them? And we buy shoes that are practical, that we need to use for various things. You seem to buy shoes just because they look good. So yes, we do spend a lot of money on computer games and all sorts of technical crap that we can fiddle with, but you spend way more on the sort of shit that you buy it. So yeah. And number 7, the whole toilet seat argument. Yep, I can understand if it's a woman's house, or if it's the woman's house, sorry, then yes, you would put the toilet seat back down when you're using their toilet. It's common sense. But if it's a man's house, and you've gone to your boyfriend's house, and you use your boyfriend's toilet, we don't complain that you haven't put the seat back up afterwards. No, you still complain that we haven't put the seat down. It's our fucking toilet. If we want to leave our seat up, we will. And then when you're moving together, when you've been to the loo, you don't put your toilet seat up, do you? But you expect when we've been to the loo for us to put the toilet seat down. And then you get married, and it's still the same. Marriage is meant to be an equal partnership. If you expect us to put the toilet seat down every time, you should put the toilet seat up every time. But it stands to reason. You can't expect us to do things that you aren't going to do yourself. I mean, it's quite an obvious one. Now, going through these 7 things, I can honestly say I have adjusted my private parts quite a few times in my life, but I don't normally do it right in front of people. No, I don't normally like stand there in the middle of a cafe and go, "Sorry, just gotta sort my stiff cock out." No, I don't. I discreetly, but you wouldn't even notice I was doing it, basically. And if anyone does notice, then what the fuck are you doing staring at my cock? Selective hearing. I can't say I've ever had selective hearing. If I've got someone talking about how cute the neighbour's cat is or whatever, or something equally pointless, men or women, I don't want to hear what they're talking about. I just tell them I don't want to hear what they're talking about and leave it at that. And then they can't complain at me for not listening, because I've told them I don't want to hear it. So leaving a trail of mess. I've never left a trail of mess. I like that idea, a trail of mess. If I ever leave a mess, it's always in a small contained area, and it's not there for long before I've cleared away. So, yeah. Leaving the remnants of a shaving session in the sink. No, I always clean the sink when I've shaved. Not that I have much to shave. Man flu. I can't say I've ever had man flu. Well, one thing I can say is I was once pretty ill. With I think it was just the common cold, I guess. But it felt like someone was trying to get through my head with a pneumatic drill, just all the time. And even the slightest sound hurt bad. I think I used more paracetamols and whatever in that one day than I ever did for the rest of the year, while still sticking to the so many you can use in a day thing. You know, you can only take so many over a period of 24 hours. But I was on the verge of exceeding that. Not because I wanted to overdose and kill myself or anything like that, just because the fucking pain was relentless. 4 hours to get to sleep. About the 4th hour, I just decided I couldn't be asked to go to sleep. So I took some more paracetamols and so much telly. Spending all your money on technical stuff. I don't spend all my money on technical stuff. I spend my money mainly on essential stuff. And I'll buy an Xbox game or whatever if it meets these 2 requirements. 1, I can afford it. 2, it looks good. That's it. If I think it's going to be a good game, I will think, do I want this? Then I will think, and I'll think, yes, I do want this. And I'll go, can I afford this? And I will think about my money for a few seconds, and work out whether or not I can afford to buy this game. And if I can afford it, I will buy it. There is something I'm going to be buying pretty soon, which hopefully shouldn't cost very much, but it's going to have a very interesting way of being used, and it goes with something else that I'm buying, which is also going to have a very interesting way of being used, and I'll also need to buy some screwdrivers. And number 7, leaving the toilet seat up. I only leave the toilet seat up if it's my toilet, unless it's like my mate's house and it's a guy. What I do is I work out the ratio of women to men in the house. So if there are more men than women in the house, I will leave the toilet seat up. If there are more women than men in the house, I will leave the toilet seat down. If it's equal, like if I'm the only man and they're the only woman, I will most likely do one or the other. Depends on like whether I'm in a hurry or whatever, whether I can be asked to put the toilet seat down again. Maybe someone could invent something that recognises when someone enters the room, the bathroom that is, whether or not it's a male or a female, and automatically puts the toilet seat up or down. Which could get annoying if a man decides he wants to go into the loo and have a shit. But then, literally that's tough shit, and you'll have to put the toilet seat down yourself. Other than that, I don't think there's any way we can get over this argument. Men are always going to leave the toilet seat up, and women are always going to leave the toilet seat down. We don't complain about you doing it, so why the fuck do you have to complain about us doing it? So yeah, that was my video of 7 things men do that annoy women. Oh, sorry, this is a bit more intense. This is 7 things men do that drive women mad. Ooh, drive women mad. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.